Happy anniversary.
As if the zombie killing isn't gross enough, show forces this loving couple celebrating their anniversary down my throat. I barely remember important days in my life as it is without the threat of walkers, so I don't appreciate having my own lazy emotional indifference rubbed in my face.
Where's my present?
I think I found something you like.
And I think after 9 seasons, I just realized how much I don't like the idea of sexual innuendo in my Walking Dead. No one will be seated during the school field trip to Colonial Williamsburg montage portion of the show.
Happy anniversary. 5 years. Means wood.
I'm pretty sure 5 years of marriage means unfulfilled wood, am I right?
Lydia, Lydia, say have you, Lydia.
This song is not being sung by Kermit the Frog.
It took us far too long to fulfill the promise of what Rick Grimes and his son, Carl, envisioned.
Yes, it did. Like about 5 seasons too long, in fact.
Let the first annual Inter-Community Reunification Fair begin!
Jerry, we changed that.
For reals? F-A-I-R, fair?
It's too many.
Well, to be fair, the length isn't really the problem with the FAIR acronym. It's the first annual part. In year 2, it becomes a SAIR, and in year 3, it becomes a TEAR. Then it's a FAIR again for a couple of years, but after that, my point is, it's a horrible acronym.
Let the fair of new beginning begin!
But that's even worse. FUMB? That's not even a word. Acronyms aren't hard, people. Just call it the Boring Unification Launches Ludicrous Show Headlong into Tedium Party. I'm sure that stands for something.
Put months of work into this fair. The kingdom needs you here.
Jesus, even with an entire zombie-filled playground to play in, Walking Dead still just eventually became a LARP version of Game of Thrones.
Do you remember us?
I've been drawing pictures of you since I was little.
Stalkers.
For Mother Retaliates, it's gonna be against Hilltop, not Alexandria.
I'm not exactly sure when The Walking Dead turned into a constitutional convention in 5th grade history class, but I sure am glad I stopped watching before then.
I also know why Rick didn't trust me when I showed up at the gates of the prison. And how people didn't trust you after seeing you on the other side of the governor's firing line.
Show brings up previous seasons that somehow both make me recoil at remembering them and long for them at the same time. I mean, that was drawn out and ridiculous, but this is drawn out, ridiculous, and depressingly earnest.
I knew this day would come. Never doubted it for a moment.
In Virginia, we plant seeds in the ground. We create. You just want to move our money around. Sorry, sometimes I just drift off into Hamilton when I see people about to sign papers.
John Hancock, eat your heart out.
In this world, it's actually likely that he did.
What are they gonna do with all this stuff? How do they even have room for everything?
I don't know, I just don't.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Norman Reedus is so checked out of The Walking Dead at this point, he's getting his things together to shoot the next episode of Ride with Norman Reedus during this episode.
Our son is taking a girl on a date to the movies tonight.
These two are so happy and content, they might as well have bought a boat and christened it the SS Live Forever. The director said, let's have these two carry around caramel apples for the next few minutes without ever trying to really eat them, because caramel apples can't be eaten without either breaking a tooth or slobbering all over yourself, and I need the audience to know that the caramel apple itself is the asshole of fair food.
Boyfriend.
Wait, it just came out. But yeah, you're my boyfriend.
Previously on Days of Our Living Deads.
Sing for her, man.
Sing for her.
It's interesting to think that someone in the producer's room watched Balls of Fury and said, I think we've got to get Dan Fogler on this show.
How come?
I'll tell you when I see you on Hilltop.
Because characters in this world refuse to transfer information to each other like normal humans. I swear they might as well go full Seacrest and say the answer to your question is coming up after the break.
I didn't want you to get in trouble, but I just caused more trouble.
It's cool.
Maybe, but you know what's never been a cool storyline on this show? Anything dealing with kids. And especially these kids who have zero personality. I can't believe I miss Coral, but watching these interactions, I kinda do.
Sorry, have we met?
Me, this entire episode. Who are all these people and where did Shane and Lori go?
Who's Addie?
She's got a thing for Henry. I'd say by the looks of it, he's got a thing for her too.
Oh goody, let's just add a set of Stephen King bully cliches to the pile. Sam Porter Bridges is not carrying a bridge baby in this scene. This episode takes over 23 minutes to Walking Dead.
Damn. You need to get me one of those.
I gotta get me one of those, cliche.
Skins? You know about them?
We got the download. Strange times, strange ways to cope.
That's an interesting take on people who choose to wear zombie skin-lined masks and brutally murder people. I'm sure they were perfectly normal, functioning human beings pre-Walker apocalypse. Then once the zombies came, they were like, well, guess we just have to Leatherface up and murder people now.
Sean and I can go with Daryl. We'll track him.
Yeah, let's have the 3 main cast members go off in one direction and all the glorified dead shirts go off in the other one. That always works out well.
Of course, this means you owe us a couple of movies when this is done.
Notes from the negotiation of Andrew Lincoln's departure from the show somehow make it into the episode.
I don't know if there's a happy ending here.
Now I'm super curious what happened to all the massage parlors once the zombies attacked. Not sure why, but that's just what popped into my head. And pants.
Back to the road, come on!
This
one!
You literally just killed about 10 zombies easily. So why is this pack of half a dozen of them all of a sudden impossible to get by? The zombie logic on this show continues to be infuriating.
Drop them. I won't ask twice.
Well, technically, you didn't ask once.
We'll start next week when the fair ends. It'll be winter soon.
One could even say winter is coming, but then one would have to admit one was blatantly stealing ideas from another, and one is too boring and unconcerned with anything resembling competent storytelling to do that.
Are you serious? You want to start with a mid-tempo ballad, man?
When The Walking Dead has finally ended and is thought back on by fans, I'm sure one of the first storylines that will come to mind is Luke's struggle with finding the perfect songs for his pre-movie performance.
I don't know if Addie likes me like that, but I don't like her. I like you.
What the skip? How much of this mother skipping episkip is going to be this middle school? Check the skip, or who is skipping, who skip, bull skip, this skip.
I'll be back soon.
This is the third character to break the I'll be right back rule, and this episode is showing its cards so much it might as well have been shot in the Hallmark factory. If you think this all ends well, heads up, it will not. This all ends with Judith practicing her roar in this valley and Daryl having to Mufasa her out of there. I'm giving all the sins back, and then adding them to the live-action Lion King video instead. I think we're supposed to believe that Alpha scalped that blonde at the beginning and is using her hair and clothes, but I have to say, if you're wearing someone else's scalp on your head, it would not look this pretty. If you're wondering how to ease the pain of this tragic but obvious and inevitable conclusion, here's a trick I learned. Just don't watch the show. I haven't watched for several seasons, and I gotta tell you, I'm feeling mighty fine right now. Note to editors, when you show an attack in slow motion, my professional recommendation is that you at least make it look like they're swinging that wrench somewhat close to the people that are flailing around like they've been brutally brained.
And some of them, they didn't even know each other, but they still fought.
Yep, that's kind of how survival works.
That's the story that I want to tell you. That's the story that I want us all to remember.
Feel like we could have just heard that story at the beginning and then had an hour of rampaging zombie mayhem, but you do you, TWD.
We're talking a lot of corn dogs!
Make sure you click that bell icon.
Sellouts.
But clicking the little bell icon is how you make sure you get notified every time we release a video. So click it.
Sellouts.
I stand before you today at the start of a new tomorrow.
3 minutes till the biggest battle of our professional lives all comes down to today.
It should be the head of the council.
It's not up to me! There's a council now!
I want to buy some radio ad time.
You just had to give me the girl.
Where's the girl? Where's the girl, Jerry?
What's your name?
You! That's my name!
Just walk away. Leave me and everyone here alone.
But I don't want your life.
Welcome to the Head Museum. I'm Leonard Nimoy.